Hey everybody, we back for another episode of the Bayou Ballers podcast. Myself, Tay Visuals, got my dog over there, Trey, man. How you
What's
feeling
up,
today, brother?
man? I'm feeling good, man. I had a
Mm-hmm.
good day at the office out here in Waco, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Got some deals closed today, man. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about
As y'all
yourself?
can see, he upgraded the household. Got a piano in the back. Y'all can see. So he rich living over there, man. He
Oh,
closing
what day?
deals. But we got a stack show for y'all today, man. We're gonna talk about some NFL contract extensions for players and front office, also NBA extensions. We got the finals coming up tomorrow. If y'all watching this, today is the 5th. The finals is Thursday.
Mhm.
So good stack show, and we're gonna provide some good content. We missed y'all from the last time, so we're gonna hop straight into it. With the NBA finals is set. Last time we was on here, it was game 5 of Minnesota. It was
Mhm.
that night, and we predicted what will happen, and the Mavs obviously won because they're in the NBA Finals. So it's the Celtics versus the Mavs. We will have a 6 time in a row new champion.
Yeah.
The parity is rolling in the league. So, what's your thoughts on this matchup? And Kristaps Porzingis is back, but he not 100% according to himself how he's been talking. So,
Mhm.
what you looking at as for what you looking forward to from Kristaps in this series?
I think we're gonna get a really good series. In my mind,
Mhm.
coming in, I was thinking Celtics in six. And then I saw a report where it started talking about, well, we haven't had a series go to game seven since the Cleveland Golden State won in 2016. So
Classic.
I said, well, they done told us how many games we going, or at least that's my superstition. So I still
Hmm.
got the Celtics in seven, man. But I talked about this on the Disrespect But podcast yesterday,
Hmm.
just saying, there's some keys to victory for both teams. I think with Dallas, their rebounding is going to have to help them. They got two really good bigs, but
Hmm.
also knowing that Celtics have KP and Al Horford who can extend the floor and shoot 3 pointers, that's going to kind of take their big sometimes out to 3 point
Hmm.
territory. And so they're going to need Luka, they're going to need Kyrie, they're going to need Derrick Jones Jr., even PG at times to really crash the boards because we know Derek White and Drew Holiday, they have no issues attacking the glass to
Yeah.
keep their possessions going. So
Good
I think we're
rebounding
going to need
guards.
that. I think one of the things we talked about with the Mavericks this postseason, we used to talk a lot about are they going to be hot and cold where Kyrie got it going early and Luka don't, and vice versa. I think
Hmm.
they got to be consistent. They got to be consistently consistent against this team. They're playing against the best team in the league for a reason. And I think on the flip side, I think Jason Tatum, he just has to continue to play basketball. And what I mean by
Yep.
that is everybody's going to be talking about how many points is he scoring, and especially in comparison to Jaylen Brown. But, bro, if you just playing good basketball the way you've been playing all postseason, the points are going to come. Keep making plays for your teammates. Keep rebounding the ball. Keep being a pretty decent defender out there. That'll help them. But with Kristaps Porzingis coming back, honestly, I think he's really going to help again extending the floor and opening up
Hmm.
the paint for the Celtics offense. I was looking at a stat that said Jaylen Brown is leading like all qualified players in like paint percentage in terms of like his efficiency when he gets to the rim. And so
Hmm.
having KP back, that's going to help. Whereas against Minnesota, Dallas, they could play off of Rudy Gobert, right? And they could keep Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively kind of packing that paint. They may still try to go that route, but if Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford can make them pay for that, there's
Hmm.
going to have to be adjustments. I don't think you can live with those guys shooting threes. Like I think a Horford shoots almost 40%, if not over
Yeah.
40%, and Kristaps is right up there too. So you just can't say, "Well, I'm just going to let him shoot," because it'll get nasty up in there. And we talking about 7 game series. It might end up in the sweep if those two big guys get hot.
Whoa,
But
whoa, hold.
I'm
You getting
just
too
saying,
far ahead of
I'm
yourself,
just,
Trey.
I'm just saying, you can't at this stage in time. It can't be. Well, I'm giving this up. I think you
Well,
just
then
got.
well, I would say this on the Mavs side.
Yeah.
They have luckily they can adjust to the bigs going five out, whichever they have on the floor. Because I don't think Horford and Porzingis going to play a lot together too
No,
much.
no.
Because Maxi Kleber coming back was very important for the Mavericks because he usually guards. He's switchable. He usually can guard threes, fours, and fives. He plays a small ball five a lot, so he'll be able to match up with Horford or Porzingis. Porzingis is not too dominant down low. Um, at least he doesn't get a lot of opportunities down there. I would say, but he can take advantage with his length, but that's not really his
Mm-hmm.
priority or his first option. We know he's a good jump shooter, but Maxi Kleber, they can go small and play counter Boston with that. If Porzingis come back and starts at the five, I don't know if he's gonna start yet, but and PJ Washington at the four. So the same thing, the same way this you say those guys at the channel the big. I don't think Derek Lively or Gaffer will be played out of the series. They too
Mm-hmm.
valuable on the offensive end with the live threats. They will
Mm-hmm.
have to challenge that when Porzingis will have to choose when they're running that pick and roll, just like Gobert had to choose. It's not going to be any different because as much as we want to say Gobert is not, he's not that switchable. Gobert wasn't bad on the perimeter. It's just
Yeah.
they were Luca and Kyrie, whoever got switched on, mainly
Mm-hmm.
Luca, with Gobert. He was making tough shots. Gobert was there, but that's just not his game,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not Porzingis' game as well. Switching out, you'll see the same type of shots being made. Now he's more light on his feet, but I think everybody agree that Gobert is a better defender than Porzingis. He's just
Mm-hmm.
more lengthy, but Luca will take advantage of that no matter who's in Horford or Porzingis, and they're gonna have to deal with that threat of Luca floater, mid range, or lob pass to Gafford. And
Mm-hmm.
Horford is not that athletic, and that's they only really have two bigs. And Porzingis is coming off injury. We have to see how he's gonna adjust. He is talking like he's not 100%, so I think he's doing that to lower the expectations. So if he comes in, he don't want to take that blame because the Celtics been rolling without him.
Mm-hmm.
And if he comes back and they look a little suspect with him, it's like, all right, we don't need him. And I think Joe Mazzulla going to be quick to like pull that plug in the finals because it's a finals on the line, and we don't need
Yeah.
no time for you to be adjusting in the finals. Horford,
Right.
get in there and take the minutes. Even if we got to get Luke Cornett to fill in about 5 minutes here or there, we're gonna do that because they cannot afford Porzingis to be ramping up during the finals.
Right.
Too much on the line.
I think what we'll see defensively, and I think this is for both teams really, the guards or perimeter defenders, they got to stay out of foul trouble. So when we talk about Derrick
Mhm.
Jones Jr., PJ Washington, even when Kyrie and Luka get switched up on JB and JT, because you know that they're
Mhm.
going to try to hunt those matchups. Even Drew Holiday using his size, you can't be in foul trouble. On the flip side, Drew Holiday and Derek White get in foul trouble. Now it's starting to look a little slim on the
The
perimeter
Celtics have
defenders.
nothing behind them.
Yeah,
Like
it's looking
Peyton
slimmer
Pritchard
at
and
what you
Sam
can throw.
Hauser.
Yeah,
That's gonna be food.
but I do think, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm looking forward to seeing if they start out this way. If Missoula puts, let's say Jason Tatum on Gafford, where if that's the pick and roll you want to try to go through, they'll allow that, and that way they can switch to pick and roll. We saw Minnesota at times give Dallas trouble when they did kind of something similar like that with Kyle Anderson, and so they were able to switch and be more
Yeah, but it
effective.
depends if a big is on the floor because whoever Porzingis or
Yeah,
Horford on, Luca's just gonna find that man. If
yeah, but
Horford, if Horford is on, if JT is on, Gafford, if Horford is on PJ
Derrick Jones
Washington,
Jr. is what it would be. That's more
yeah,
than likely
and I
who
get
they'll
what
be
you're
starting.
saying because that'll take away the live threat. I get what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying on that part. That would be pretty smart. So we're gonna see. I don't know if
Yeah,
Joe gonna pull that out in the first game. That's
yeah,
a bold kind of move. Like you coming out with like that's like, hey, this what we doing. This to stop your main action.
yeah.
So we're gonna see. But that's a good point on them. The guards in the foul trouble because
Mm-hmm.
the Celtics, man, they very thin once you get past that starting line. The first six guys, which they have the best six guys in the league. Like the
Mm-hmm.
first six, you can't deny it. Like, but after that, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, he's pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but defensively, he's just too small. He can't do nothing with
Yeah.
nobody on the Mavs. So
Yeah,
we'll see
bench
how
is
that
going to be big
goes.
series. But who you picking? Because you
Yes.
didn't say, man, I'm not gonna let you dodge Team Kyrie. But you,
There you go. Just now, look, I'm picking the Mavs to win the series. I'm gonna roll with the Mavs, bro. I've been
okay.
rolling with the Mavs. Well, I've been on a roll lately. I picked Minnesota against Denver, and I
Hmm.
picked the Mavs against Minnesota. So, and everybody just picked the Celtics against anybody. So I'm not taking credit for nothing over there. But
Yeah.
game one in Boston, I'm feeling a Kyrie Sage game in
Oh yeah.
Horizon right now.
Okay.
I'm feeling a Kyrie Sage game, some revenge for all
Yeah.
the media trouble, all the fans. I know he's gonna be a stand-up guy this time. It's not gonna be like the Nets series with him
Yeah.
throwing middle fingers at things, but all the praise Kyrie has been getting over this run. It's like it's been a 180 from the media, which who
Yeah.
just dogged them out a couple years ago, and now they just flip flopping like it
Right.
ain't nothing. But I feel a big game from the Mavs, and I think the Mavs talent will shock. It's not gonna shock the Celtics, but I expect the Celtics to be kind of a little bit caught off guard because they've been playing the
Hmm.
Pacers, teams who've been hurt. And when you see Luke and Kyrie, it's not the Pacers, it's not Nimhard, it's not Aaron Neesmith, it's not Miami without Jimmy. It's not none of
Hmm.
that. It's real guys who are going to come at you every possession. Luka is going to test that defense every possession. If you stop him, he's going to come back and run another 3 pick and rolls in one play. And you got to keep defending it. Then you got to be disciplined. So I'm looking forward to that. So
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then all it takes is a Celtics 3 point shooting night to be off because they happy from the 3 point line. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But I got the
definitely.
Mavericks winning the series, bro.
Okay.
Big
Okay.
game from Kyrie first game too to set the tone for the series. But
Right.
speaking of the Mavs, we
Yes.
got Nico Harris, they GM.
Hmm.
Um, Contract extension. He made a deep run in this playoff. They in the finals. They got the extension done before the finals over. So obviously they care if they win the finals, but they didn't care if they win it before they gave him the extension
Yeah.
because obviously he's proved enough with his moves at the trade deadline, stealing Kyrie from the Nets. What's your thoughts on Nico Harris getting this contract extension?
I mean, it's well deserved. I mean, in his 3 years, it's been a Western Conference Finals appearance with some of that
Mhm,
playoff push being without Luca and Luca being injured and Jalen Brunson kind of taking the lead in some of those series. Uh, Had a tough year last year. I think
mhm,
they had some turnover and it was some tough. But now your third year, you're back in the finals or you're in the finals now, and that's a testament to his approach. I think one of the
mhm,
things he did was pay the guys you need to pay, get rid of the guys like a Kristaps Porzingis at the time, who was a high ticket guy from a salary standpoint. Move off of that, get some guys that you can build around Luca. You're kind of learning Luca's speed and what can and can't work with them.
mhm,
Taking that risk, I guess some would say, with bringing Kyrie in, but showing that level of belief in him and
mhm,
ensuring, or reassuring him that, hey, we want you here, we want you to be part of this process. And so that was good. But man, like he made some touch not moves from day one. And
mhm.
I think it's paid off for the
Getting
team.
Derek Lively.
Yeah. Getting Derek
That's right.
Lively, the PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford trade pretty much saved the Maverick season. I mean, we were kind of
Mhm,
getting a situation where, Jalen Brunson is an MVP candidate and y'all kind of seventh seed and it's looking bad. And it's like, man, you gave away this guy for Kyrie. And so Kyrie and Luca got a little bit healthier down the stretch, were able to make a playoff push, get themselves into that fifth seed. And they've been phenomenal this whole run. But I think that starts with I would say give Mark Cuban some credit of being a diligent
yeah, yeah.
owner, letting a guy like Nico just run the show and do things.
Mhm,
Previously, Mark Cuban was a guy that always wanted to make a big splash. And I
mhm,
think with Nico now, this kind of saying, hey, those things may happen, but we don't have to go hunting for that maybe the way we've done in years past, especially when you got a superstar in Luca that people want to play with. So, man, well deserved for him. And I think this is a good move for the Mavericks organization and
mhm,
them building for it. So I like it. What about you?
mhm. I like it. Just like you said, it's kind of ironic when you brought up Mark Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
Always want to make a big splash because the Mavericks are usually on the free agents like list who's always brought up like this guy's meeting with the Mavericks on when big free agents come out. We're not going to see it too much because it's not going to. We don't have a lot of big free agents hitting free agency anymore due to like the massive contracts they receive. They rather
Yeah.
get the contracts now and just request a trade. So, but Dallas are always in that mix, and they're always going to be a team. Granted, they a big market, so
Mhm.
I like the move. You always got to keep guys who put together great teams in the front office. You got to
Mhm.
reward them guys because he made the moves. Um, I get it. It's collective effort in the front office. You got guys who he worked with, but it's probably he's probably second to last say of
Yeah.
if he wants to pull the trigger on the trade. So and he does his homework, man. He made 3 great moves. All his guys who he got in uh uh a real low key great move was Derrick Jones Jr.
Mhm.
Nobody, that's a free
Yeah.
agent veteran minimum signing this year. Derrick Jones Jr. was on a podcast saying he could have picked up his option on for the Bulls
Yeah.
and made more money, but he decided to bet on himself this season. And for the Mavs picking him out of the that free agency class last year, that was a good move by Nico. And he's starting up like 3 of the 4 guys who starting is traded for Kyrie,
Yeah.
Gafford. Well, Jones picked up a free agency and PJ. So his whole team is basically he acquired other than
Yeah.
Luca. So great move by Nico, man. But we're gonna talk some other front office things.
Mhm.
And we're gonna get to kind of Dallas rival, the Lakers, the Lake Show. JJ Redick, Adrian Wojnarowski, and Shams reported that the Lakers are keying in on JJ Redick as the front runner for the Lakers job. It's basically official.
Yeah.
It's based everything but official, I should say. Maybe they want to wait till the NBA Finals is over to.
Mhm.
We talked about this on one of our first shows. Just do it now. The
Yeah.
NBA draft is right a week after
Yeah.
the finals. Well, like if they go to game 7, it will be
Right.
June 26th. So just get it over,
Yeah.
Lakers. Sign him, man. They've been JJ ready. It's been
Yeah.
him. Like,
Well, I think he
well,
probably
what?
already signed. He probably already signed. They just don't want to announce it because
Right.
he said
Like, what are we doing?
yeah, they said ESPN wants him to finish out the NBA Finals, so maybe they're
Mhm.
waiting for that. But
Well,
who knows?
he still got podcasts dropping with LeBron, so it doesn't matter. I
Yeah,
wonder if they're
look,
gonna address it on their podcast. I want to see that.
I want them
Like,
to.
if he
Somebody
said,
said it. Somebody said they want them to keep the podcast. I won't see the podcast after y'all get blown out. Somebody said we won't see why. We want LeBron to ask him why he's still starting Vando on the
"Oh,
pod.
Vando," they would want
Yeah,
to start Vando. They defensive guard is trash,
man.
man. But that'd be hilarious though. Like LeBron would be like, yeah, why you took me out?
Yeah,
Why you took
but
me
man,
out? We
it's
was up
crazy
10,
though.
then I got back in. We was down 10.
I guess I'm happy for JJ from
Mhm.
he's getting the opportunity to lead one of the uh, 2 marquee franchises in all the basketball. So that's kind of good for him. But I mean, look, we already getting Bronny drafted with
You think Bronny
what
going to
he.
the Lakers?
I don't know if he going to the Lakers, but we already getting Bronny into the league. And I don't think right now. I think I would rather him go back to school and work on his game a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
look, LeBron, you only get one nepotism choice. You can't get Bronny into the league, non-G League. By the way, he's gonna be on the roster. Like they're not doing G League,
Mm-hmm.
and get JJ Redick with no experience. Like this man only experiences coaching his kids' teams.
Oh, so you putting it on LeBron that they got JJ Redick?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think the Lakers. Oh, I mean, of course. Like, bro, like it was
But
this whole podcast they're
LeBron,
going.
mind you, before you finish, LeBron said he was as far away from this
I know
coaching
what he
search
said. You
as
believe that?
as possible. You don't
And,
believe it?
and I'm supposed to believe that? Hell no, I don't believe that.
All right, go ahead,
Uh,
continue.
and look, I mean, it's fine. You in the twilight of your career, shit. You done earned the right to make the decisions you want to make. Just like when people was, being mad at Kobe for taking that legacy contract when he knew he was well past his prime. Who cares? I deserve it. And Brian definitely deserves this, especially if he's going to opt into his contract and play 1 more year for the Lakers at minimum. Yeah, I need to pick who
Mm-hmm.
coaches me, especially because you didn't let me pick the last one. You didn't let me pick the last one. Let me pick this one. And so I know what it looks like. I think I kind of mentioned it on the episode before. If the Lakers don't win the championship, which is likely they won't, and JJ ends up getting canned, especially when LeBron has retired, he will never coach again. Not at this level. Like I think he's gonna get the Steve Nash treatment. You can always be an ambassador of the game. You might always have a job at ESPN because he's, leaving the right way, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll never get that opportunity again. And that's kind of the thing I feel for him on. Like you go coach a Charlotte and do a little here and there, you might get another opportunity. But I think if you don't adhere to the standards that is the Los Angeles Lakers brand, it just is what it is. It doesn't even have anything to do with LeBron, to be quite honest with you. LeBron could be off the team, and the Lakers brass is going to have those same championship expectations. And I think taking a chance on JJ and JJ taking a chance on them, it could be great, but it could have some really dire consequences for his career. And we know how bad he wants to be a coach. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Man, JJ taking a chance on them. I don't see no other teams beating down JJ Redick though for him to
Mm-hmm.
coach. So obviously, JJ wants to coach only for the Lakers. That's what I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Cavaliers had an opening. They had interviews with Borrego and Kenny Atkinson, both
Mm-hmm.
assistants. The Lakers had interviews with those guys, but the other teams didn't have an interview with JJ Redick.
I think
So
Charlotte
obviously,
did.
those
That's the only one.
Charlotte had an interview with JJ.
Mm-hmm. They're the
Oh
only one.
Lord, that's just for show, just for the show. But
Mm-hmm.
this move, it can end up like Steve Kerr, or it can end up like Derek Fisher. That's how I look at it. Derek Fisher coached the Knicks, got fired, and I don't believe he coached again in the NBA. So,
Nope. He went to the Sparks and tried to ruin Candace Parker's career, so he never getting the
yeah, he don't
coach
coach
job
there
again.
either no more. Yeah,
He
so
never get the job again.
right. So it can happen like that, especially with a big franchise with a big GOAT player and
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis, who doesn't get talked about too much. I'm sure he probably has a say because he might be around longer than LeBron. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
don't have no bad things to say about JJ Redick because I don't know about him. He's an unknown quantity. Everybody knew he's a smart guy. How he talks on a podcast. If you listen to some podcast,
Mm-hmm.
the podcast with him and Brian, he knows the game. And when he's talking on commentary, so we're here to see. It wasn't too many options that I would have picked. I wasn't too big of a fan of Borrego. Nothing against those guys, Kenny Atkinson, but I just always wanted an elder statesman as a
Yeah.
LeBron coach because LeBron IQ is so high. I wanted, I always wanted a coach that I feel like can talk to LeBron as an equal and as a
Mm-hmm.
player. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, of course, LeBron is status is so high, it's higher than any other coach, but a coach that can just be like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Brian, you're gonna be off ball. We're not gonna have you up top all the time. Every coach always said we want to take the ball out of Brian's hands. We want to play him less minutes. Well, when we gonna do it, please? Somebody got to
But
sit
he
him
wants to
down.
do it.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
When
Like
he wants to do it.
Popovich, I need a coach like Pop. That's what we need. LeBron, go over there, sit down. You low management tonight. We don't care about your streak. We don't care about none of that. It's over with. That's what I always thought LeBron needed, but obviously he ain't gonna get that in his career. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll digress and move on to another JJ, which is Justin Jefferson.
Money.
Y'all see it rolling down at the bottom of the screen. 4-year, $140 million deal, 110 guaranteed. But this is the kicker, y'all. This is the kicker right here. When he signed the contract, the Minnesota Vikings deposited 88 million in his account. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if that is crazy to me. When you sign this contract, I don't know how fast that go to their account. Do that take a little minute? I have to ask one of them
I don't know. I
when
want
we
my
get them
money
on the
immediately.
podcast, brother. Like, as soon as I sign, I want it shooting like a Zelle notification. Like, I need that. $88 million when you sign. That is wild, bro. Like, when I
Yeah.
saw that number, I was like, I'm not worrying about the full 140. I'm like, That's what it
Yeah,
is right there. He got like all this money. He could get
yeah.
hurt. He still got that 88. He still got 110 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But and how good Justin Jefferson is. He young. He might damn near get the whole 140. Or he might re-up. And this is what we was
Oh, he
talking
definitely
about.
gonna re up. Oh, he
Yeah,
definitely
this is
gonna
what we
re
was talking about. It's not a 5-year deal.
up. Mm-mm.
It's a 4-year deal. So it's probably in 3 years, he'll be coming back again to the table. What's your thoughts on JJ being the highest paid receive non-quarterback ever?
Yeah, it's deserved,
Deserve it?
man. Like
Yep.
honestly, I thought he was. You know, and I tweeted out, I thought he was gonna be the first one to get 40 million annually. But he had 35, which
Mhm.
somebody was asking me if I think somebody's gonna break it. Like I think they mentioned Jamar Chase. And the thing with
No.
wide receivers is hard because if you don't have the accolades, like especially individual accolades, it's hard to say I deserve more money than this guy. And so I don't think
Mhm.
there's anybody right now, especially in his age bracket, that can say I deserve more money than Justin Jefferson.
And
Um,
Tyreek had, for context, he had 4 years, 120 last year.
mhm,
Tyreek.
right, right. And he ended up getting paid more than a peer of his in Devontae Adams, which is like,
Mhm.
okay, that makes sense, especially if
Mhm.
you wanted him to decide to come to Miami as opposed to I think the Jets was trying to trade for him at that time too.
Mhm.
And so that made sense. But man, Justin Jefferson, I was looking, bro. He only played 10 games last year, right? But he still had over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns.
That's
Like,
why Shefty, that's why I had to tweet Shefty. Stop playing. Trying to put him and CD Lamb up there on a comparison post together.
right. Like,
Stop
it's not
doing
the
that,
same.
man.
Like,
Nobody
CD,
put CD Lamb in the same
right.
conversation as Justin Jefferson. No
And look,
disrespect to him. That's just because Justin just on another stratosphere.
yeah, I know we're gonna talk about CD and his contract situation a little bit, but I mean, if he's actually going in Jerry Jones' office and saying he wants equal or more than Justin Jefferson, I'm doing exactly what you just did if I'm Jerry Jones. I'm probably calling security to have him escorted out of my office because he got to be out of his mind. Like, there's no way. I don't see a receiver kind of resetting the market. But if they do, I mean, I hope Minnesota got bankroll out the wazoo because you're gonna have to re-up again because that's just how talented this guy is. He has an offensive
Man,
player of the year on award on his resume, and he's still going. Like he's still young. So I mean, it's well deserved. He's probably gonna reset it again if I had to when I think about him versus his peers. And I mean, unless somebody's going to do a Jacksonville Jaguars and have like a guy who's really a wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2 reset the market, then maybe that may change some things. But I don't see from a wide receiver 1 standpoint anybody coming close right now to what he was able to accomplish. But like I said, I thought he was going to be the first guy to have like a 40 million a year, probably 100 million guaranteed at the
don't
wide
speak
receiver
too
position.
soon.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
next
because
one might be.
right, but he's just that good, and they had to
Yeah,
pay him. I mean, you lost
right.
Kirk Cousins in free agency. You got a rookie quarterback. You want to make things as easy on JJ McCarthy as possible. And
That's
what's going
three
to be easier?
JJs we didn't talked about, bro.
Yeah, what's going to be more feasible and easy for a rookie getting adjusted to the league than having arguably the best wide receiver in the league right now? That's
Man,
going to be a
he is the
quarterback
best wide
special.
receiver in the league. While we
So
on that topic,
yeah,
you could name your 5 best receivers. You say arguably the best, top 5 in order
yeah.
if you could.
Top five, I'd probably
This one of
have
our first top
Justin.
fives on here, y'all. This
I'd
is
have
history.
Justin. I had Justin top right
Hmm.
now. Behind him, I got Tyreek. I got Devontae Adams. I got Jamar.
And Chris Olave.
And let me see who would be my. I wouldn't put Chris there yet. Not in my
It,
five.
it, it was a
Nah,
joke. He ain't in there yet, y'all.
yeah, but I don't really know. I feel like my 5 through 8 just so close. Like it could be hit or miss.
You,
But like I
you say
usually
Jamar
think of like
Chase?
fours. I said
You
Jamal.
said
I had
Jamar
Jamal
Chase?
at 4.
Oh,
So I had
okay.
Jamal behind Tyreek and Devontae, and they two dudes that's on their way out. So by this year, by this upcoming year, because I know Jamal
Hmm.
dealt with some injuries, and obviously Joe missed a large part of the season last year. So what they got on their mind in Cincinnati, especially
Hmm.
if T Higgins get traded, all the targets going to Jamal. So
Hmm.
he may reinsert himself in that conversation. Not to say that he was ever out of it, but really vying for his fellow LSU Tigers top spot
Mhm.
because they got
And he
that.
hasn't received this contract, right?
He is not. He is not.
All right. He should come in close. He should
He
come in
gonna come
probably
close.
at 30. He
He
should
gonna
probably come
come
around
close.
30.
He gonna be about 30,
Um,
32.
yeah, that it like we said, the contracts all depend on timing.
Yeah,
But when I'm looking at guys like Justin Jefferson, it's not about timing with him.
yeah.
It's not
That's
like
true.
another wide receiver not gonna come behind him and be like, oh,
Mhm.
all right, it's time to put me on top of his.
Yeah,
It don't go like that.
because they're not
At
putting
least
no
if
company.
I'm negotiating contracts, if I'm the GM, no, that guy right there, he on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Don't even look at his contract. Let's look
And I
at the
got
guy
my
under him.
fifth for you. Amon Ross St. Brown. That's my
Okay,
fifth right now.
I can deal with that. Detroit guy. All right. We're gonna move on, you guys, to another NFL contract extension, and this is by the best running back in the league.
Yeah,
That's from me. That's not from Trey,
I
but I
agree.
believe.
I agree.
All right,
I agree with
I believe Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league, and the 49ers do.
you.
That's why they gave him an average of 19 million over the next 2 years, which that would
Hmm.
probably be 38 million.
Yeah.
2-year deal on what he already had it. They added 8 million to his salary this year and
Hmm.
24 million extra guaranteed throughout the contract. So he's raking in the money with San Francisco. Probably one of the best trades ever.
Hmm.
Um, Nobody even remember what they gave up. That's how good the trade was.
Oh,
Like we don't even care. Like it doesn't matter. C-Mac is just getting it done. And probably one of the greatest moves for him as well. Getting out of
hmm.
Carolina, getting to a winning situation. A lot of people look at him different. We already looked at him as a great back, but he was injured a lot. And
Hmm.
Carolina really wasn't going too many places since Cam left. But he's a winning player, bro, and he's just all around. He's a back every team wants. So C-Mac, man, what you think about this? Probably like the same of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, deserved, and much like Justin, they're like a running back better not come into my office asking for equal or greater. And yeah, I'm talking about
Right.
41 in New Orleans. Like, don't even start that conversation. Don't tell me you want Christian McCaffrey money, because
It ain't
despite
there.
injuries, like it is what it is. I mean, the guy had offensive player of the year. He was last year, had over 2,000 total yards, 21 touchdowns,
Bro,
21 total touchdowns.
crazy.
Probably should have been the MVP. I know it's a quarterback award. Lamar did his thing too, but who we
He
can
should have been an
argue that
MVP. The MVP was in the air all
it
year.
was in the air all year. And I'm like, if it was a year to give it to a non-quarterback, I felt like Christian McCaffrey made one hell of
Definitely
a damn
was.
argument
Hmm.
last year to be able to get that award. And I'm like, how you gonna give it to a quarterback but give Christian McCaffrey Offensive Player of the Year? That see it don't equate to me. I don't get it, but
Yeah.
it is what
It's
it
just a
is. But
quarterback. It's the QVP. That's what it is.
yeah,
It's not the
but
MVP.
man, but like you said, he's the best running back in the league, and I think he continues to show it. I think even in the bad situation he was in Carolina, you saw flashes. It really was just about them running him into the ground, and he
Right. I ain't even
couldn't.
see flashes. I saw it. It
Yeah,
wasn't flashes. We
and
saw him
it's
twice
like
a year.
and it's like now being in a more talented team, they don't have San Francisco won't necessarily run him into the ground. He's still by far the best offensive player that they have, and they're going to
Hmm.
utilize him. But hey, you know what? I can throw the ball to IU and get Debo involved at times. Whereas in
Hmm.
Carolina, it just felt like it was always him, especially when Cam went to New England and wasn't with them anymore. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, like I said, I think any running backs that's trying to think about their market, you can't surpass his market right now because he's just playing
Yeah.
above everybody else. And
Yeah.
there's gonna be some
Way.
guys in his age bracket, it's funny, man. Somebody on Twitter was saying, well, if Alvin Kamara was white, he'd be getting his contract too. And I say, well, no, maybe if he was more productive the past 2 years, right? And I gotta
Exactly.
credit
He
you.
said,
I gotta credit you that. I gotta credit you for that because when we were talking about the whole training camp thing and about him missing, and you kind of mentioned like, hey man, like you ain't really been you these past couple of years. You might
right.
want to come out. And I ain't gonna lie, I probably had some Alvin Kamara colored glasses on for a long time, but when you really think about it, and when we're talking about where he stacks up from a talent perspective, we think he's there, but you got to be able to show it. And we
Yes.
can talk about the offensive scheme and the offensive line and things like that. But hey, if we holding Derek Carr accountable for not playing as well as we would like him to be, or in some other players on the team holding them accountable, why can't we hold our best player accountable? So we can talk about all these
Yeah,
different factors, but look, when you in a pile of shit, you got to look like a piece of gold within that pile of shit, not part of the pile. And I think,
exactly.
we'd like to see Alvin Kamara do a little bit better. So look, if he ball out, somebody bookmark my tweet, bro. I was like, okay, if he ball out, it don't change the last 2 years, but I hope he ball out. I hope
Right.
he can
And I
come in.
think he will this year though. That's the
Yeah,
thing. I think he will have a breakout year.
yeah.
I think he will finally have a back who he can rely on, where he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to do everything, run between the tackles, outside the tackles, catch
Yeah,
balls.
yeah,
That I think hopefully Clint Kubiak will use him smartly and not just run him into the ground. So I think he'll have a bounce back. Yeah, I think he'll
yeah.
get to. I don't know if he'll get to double digit touchdowns because I don't know how much Kendrick will be on the field, but I
Mm-hmm.
think he could get to 10 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
He should be, rather that's between catching and rushing. But I
Yeah.
think Kamara touchdowns these past 2 years. I don't know if he had 10 touchdowns over these last 2 years together.
Mm,
I know one year he had
I
like
don't think
four,
so. I
and
don't
I
think
can't
so. I
remember
think
what he
he
had last year.
I think he gets to 10 because I think he had 6 total last year, something like that. I guess
Okay,
is weird.
yeah.
But he
So
had a much
yeah,
better 2022 season than the 2023. So
yeah.
uh,
So you guys, it has nothing to do with race.
no.
We're Saints fans, and we know. And our opinion is Christian McCaffrey is better, and it's definitely not because he white. That don't make
Yeah,
no damn sense. It's
he
because he's
just damn
just
good.
better. Yeah.
Like,
If Kamara has a 2017, 2018 season,
yeah,
hey, we was just saying Kamara's the best.
yeah,
That's when McCaffrey wasn't playing like he's playing now. He was injured,
mhm.
kind of like they flip flopping.
Yeah,
McCaffrey
yeah,
getting
yeah,
better and Kamara declining a little bit.
yeah.
But he has a chance to change that if he stays healthy and produces. That's all it
Hmm.
is. When he
For sure.
producing and he's scoring touchdowns, we're gonna be right. We're gonna be like, okay, if we losing, his trade value is up. If we
Yeah,
winning, we still love it. Either way is good.
you love it. Winning either way, though.
Right. So we're gonna move on, man, to another couple extensions in the front office. We had an extension in the NBA in the front office, and now we
Hmm.
have one in the NFL office, and we go to the Cleveland Browns, my man 2014, who I play with.
Okay, okay.
GM, and I'm a Deshaun Watson fan, bro. That's why I play with him.
I got
But
you.
hopefully he get back on track for the sake of me, man. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks in Houston. But Cleveland Browns signed their head coach and their GM to extension. They didn't have the number of years on the extension, but I believe
Yeah,
they've been together since 2020. I think Baker, the year
yeah.
Baker Mayfield
I
went to the
think so.
playoffs. Yeah, I think the
I
year
think so.
Baker went to the playoffs.
Hmm.
So they've been having a winning percentage over these last few years, and
Hmm.
they didn't have this in a long time. So
Right.
the ownership has rewarded these guys, which I believe they deserve, and it's going to be a big year for them as well. With Deshaun Watson, it's going to be a big year for Deshaun. They gave the quarterback the first fully guaranteed contract um, of that size because Kirk Cousins has been getting fully guaranteed
Yeah.
contracts, but it just hasn't been of the length and the amount of money.
Right.
But so they have a lot to prove this year. They
Hmm.
they made the playoffs last year, right?
They did. They did.
They made the playoffs last year, even with the Deshaun Watson getting
Yeah.
hurt. So
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski has did a good job with this team. That defense is great. So what do you think about them, Trey?
I
The
mean,
tandem extensions.
I love it for them. I mean, they deserve it. Some good things finally happening in Cleveland on the football side for the first
Hmm.
time in a really long time. I was looking when we kind of talked about, hey, we gonna talk about this today. I was looking it up, and so they made the playoffs in their tenure. They made the playoffs twice in the past 4 seasons, and also
Hmm.
had two 11-win seasons in each of those playoff appearances. That's the first time that they've made consecutive playoff appearances in a 4-year span since 85 to 89. So
I wasn't born,
that
people.
right, that shows like I wasn't even a thought, my brother. Like so that just shows how things are going in Cleveland. And last year was probably the best under their regime because they had 4 different starting quarterbacks. They lost Nick Chubb week 2. I mean, I thought Myles Garrett might win league MVP the way him and that
He
defense was
started.
carrying. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it was really good for them to kind of finish the season the way they did. They won a playoff game too, or did they? Did they win the playoff? I think they won the playoff game last year.
Who did they
Can't
lose to? Buffalo?
remember.
Let me search that out.
I think
Fact
so.
check
Go
us. You
search
can keep going. I'm a
because I
fact
don't
checker.
know because I think they beat Houston. I'm not sure if they beat Houston or not. Because I know that's who they played in the postseason.
No, they
But
ain't beat Houston. The Chiefs beat
so,
Houston.
so then that means they lost to Houston in the wild card, but they
Oh
made
yeah,
it.
all right,
And
yeah,
I
yeah. They
remember
lost.
Joe Flacco came down to earth in that postseason. But um, what they've been able to accomplish, especially in the past 4 years, man, that's really good. And we're still waiting for Deshaun Watson to be the Deshaun Watson
Right.
that everybody and their mama was trying to trade for, despite the court situation, and
Mm-hmm.
a guy that
Oh,
was top five.
45-14. Not to interrupt
Yeah,
you. It was
yeah, yeah.
45-14.
I
Houston.
think go through like 3 or 4 picks in that game. Like I think two pick sixes or something like that.
Man.
Uh, but man, the sky's the limit for them. Getting Deshaun Watson, I think they even secured their backup quarterback position just in case with Jameis Winston. That defense is going to be that defense. So I think that's one less thing you have to worry about. And Nick Chubb kind of being healthier is going to be really big for them too. So I mean, they're in the AFC North. That's the best division in football, as far as I'm
Yes, it
concerned.
is.
So you
Yes,
never
it
want to
is.
say, well, they're gonna win X amount of games. You just never know. I
They
mean,
got four teams who can literally make the playoffs every year.
and I mean, they might do that. I mean, they might end up having 4 of the 7 spots this year. Like that's just how
I
good
wouldn't
that
be
division.
mad at it, man. That's a tough
Yeah,
that's a tough division.
yeah,
If they could just get um just okay quarterback play from Deshaun.
mm-hmm.
If they get Houston Deshaun, it's crazy. They in trouble now. I don't expect Houston Deshaun. I expect a level under that, a good
Yeah,
quarterback. That's what I expect from Deshaun to get back to the dual threat, scrambling. He showed a little bit last year, but he got hurt. So hopefully he comes back and he get back to that explosive guy, MVP caliber type guy. So and that's just gonna make the AFC even more fun. They already
mm-hmm.
got all the quarterbacks. Deshaun get back to that level. That's just another quarterback you got to add to the AFC, man. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that. And the Browns fans, y'all deserve it. Y'all went through a lot,
they
man.
do.
Oh,
Dog
some
Pound
years.
stay loyal, bro. They stay loyal, so they deserve the good things happening for them for sure.
They should. They've been through a lot. All them quarter Brandon Wheaton, Johnny Manziel, Brady Quinn.
Brian Hoyer,
Too many. But let's
Deshaun
move on to your
Clark.
guys, man. The Cowboys, Micah Parsons and CD Lamb. We know
Mm-hmm.
when Micah Parsons deal come out, it's gonna be a jumbo one.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to focus on CD Lamb because we touched on him a little
Yeah.
bit with the
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson. And the Cowboys
Mm-hmm.
have been waiting and waiting and waiting. All these 3-year deals that came out.
Yeah.
We forgot to touch on Jalen Waddle too. He signed a
Mm-hmm.
day after we did our pod. So this is our first one after that. But we touched on Nico Collins, Jawan
Yeah.
Jennings, and then Jalen Waddle came in after.
Yeah.
So Devontae Smith has signed Jalen Waddle and Nico Collins. That's the 3-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think CD will come at? You think he'll come in closer to them or closer to Justin Jefferson?
I think he should come closer to the Jalen Waddles, Devontae Smiths of the
Mm-hmm.
world. And I know he's going, and probably one of the reasons why he's sitting out is because he's pushing for the Justin Jefferson range. And I think you might find yourself somewhere in the middle. I would say his best chance is definitely trying to sign before Jamar Chase signs. Because if
Mm-hmm.
Jamar let's say Jamar signs for 32 to 33, you're not touching that. So
Mm-hmm.
now you got to be even further. So I would assume that Dallas is probably somewhere between that 30 and 32 range with them. But also I think there was a lot of expectations, especially when they traded away my boy Coop, that CD would take that next leap. And I don't know if he's taking that yet. And
I
maybe
think
he's a
they feel
forever
he.
wide receiver too. Yeah, and so I know a lot of Cowboys fans, and they were kind of talking about, yeah, man, CD's better than Amari Cooper. And I say, man, that wide receiver one treatment is a lot different. Now all the eyes are on you, and he's played well. It hasn't been like he's hasn't been producing, but I don't think he's taking that next step when we're talking about the star wideouts in the league. that they're looking
Mm-hmm.
for, maybe to um, confirm or make it or make themselves believe, okay, we have to pay him that top notch money, especially when you got a guy on the defensive side of the ball like Michael Parsons, who's probably about to reset the market for edge rushers, and probably
Mm-hmm.
should with how he's produced in his past few years in the league. And we're just in a situation where the Cowboys have a lot of people to pay, and they don't want to get themselves in a situation like they did with paying Dak, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper really close to one another, and it didn't work out because two of those three guys ended up not being on your team anymore. Um, I definitely think both of these guys will be paid before Dak Prescott because I know he's kind of wanting a new extension as well, and some people are talking about within the $60 million range. No, sir. No, sir. That just can't happen.
Hey, we've been getting our cap together this year, so he might walk into free agency and be a Saint next year,
He
depending on how
might,
the
but
year go. He might Saints
yeah,
might be looking for a quarterback next year, and that number
yeah,
4 gonna be available
yeah,
because I assume
yeah.
Carr is gonna be out of there if we looking for a quarterback.
but but man, it's crazy. I mean, you should always reward your guys, and I think Jerry does a good job eventually of finding
Mhm,
that appropriate price. I mean, they did the same thing with Dak too, just trying to find that appropriate price where you're comfortable paying somebody a certain amount of money, and that'll
mhm,
happen. I definitely think Mike is probably going to be the first one to get paid. Um,
mhm.
because Dallas has kind of invested a lot in their wide receiver room, and CD could run the risk of another guy stepping up and showing out, and now you're not even the Dallas Cowboy anymore. So who knows? But I think both of them end up getting paid. CD has to find that perfect medium between the Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith range, and definitely still coming under the Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase range. So uh,
Okay.
Mike is going
Let
to
me
set that mark.
ask you this then. You
Uh-huh.
say he should come in closer to the Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
Waddle is a number 2. Nico
Mm-hmm.
Collins, number 2.
Yep.
You can depend on Devontae Smith, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
CeeDee Lamb is a number 1. So I'm guessing
That's
this
what
is
they
his
say.
argument. This is his.
But production,
he produced like a number 1 last year. If you look
but
at
when
the
you
yards
producing,
and the catches, he produced like a number 1
yeah,
last
but
year.
when you more so producing on kind of the
It's
same
levels to number
wavelength as some of these
ones.
guys, is levels to ones. And I think he
It
did
is.
okay last year. But I think, especially in the postseason, where they were like, okay, this is where you really make your money for a lot of those
Okay.
guys. I don't know if he made his money, at least the money that he's asking for. And again, we're kind of
Okay.
talking about, the individual accolades, right? Like you can't surpass a guy that has an offensive player of the year in his arsenal.
Yeah, but I'm
And
saying not surpassed him. Coming
yeah,
right under him. Justin at 35. What if he comes in at 31? That's too
if
high
he comes in at
for you?
31, I think that's a good deal. I think if that's what Dallas is offering him right now, he should take that. He should run and take that.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a feeling that he's fighting for more so like that 34 or 35, maybe even 36, especially
Bro, give
because
or
Adam
take.
Schefter, putting out stats with no context in there. So
Yeah, I think the Schefter's definitely in that agent. Well, the agent definitely like, hey, put that out there, Schefter.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
Yeah, because that benefits he didn't have no reason to put that out there. Like,
yeah,
like he said he could have put that up for Chase and
yeah,
Jefferson. No reason to put that up for CD and
yeah,
Jefferson.
yeah.
But let me give you this. I'm gonna give you some wide receivers. You
Mm-hmm.
can yay or nay if you would take these guys over CD. These are
Mm-hmm.
number ones.
Okay.
We're gonna go the guys who you already know. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
That's a yay. Jamar Chase,
Yes.
Tyreek Hill,
Yes.
Amari St. Brown,
Yes.
Devontae Adams,
Yes.
Terry McLaurin.
No.
Okay, let's keep Mike Evans.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. What about all right? Let's go. Number 2, Jalen Waddle,
No.
AJ Brown. That's the number 1.
He's number one. But yes, I'd take AJ Brown over him.
Okay, so we get that's 7. That's 7 right there. You said he's only better than 1. I'm trying to find more. Oh, Amari Cooper.
Now, yes. because I'm taking
Okay.
Amara's age into account.
Okay. That's all I got right now.
Mhm.
Who came to my head? I'm sure I'm missing some other good wide receivers out there, but they're not coming to my head, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah.
But so you have him somewhere between the 7 and 10 range of wide receivers,
Yes. Yeah,
probably.
that's where he is right now for me. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
Mhm.
Um, let's get to one a couple hometowners, a couple hometown topics, and one is the Pelicans have deferred the Lakers draft pick to 2025. You believe
Mhm.
this is a smart move? A lot of people say this year draft is not as strong as it will be next year with Cooper
Mhm.
Flag coming out. So what do you
Yeah.
think of this move? Was it good?
I don't. I would have kept the pick, and not
Mm-hmm.
because it's about drafting someone in this year's draft, but I think having two first-round picks in your arsenal, and you're talking about you want the Trey
Assets. Come
Youngs, the
on.
Donovan Mitchells, the Darius Garlands of the world. I think you got to utilize that because why are we assuming like the Lakers gave you the 17th pick this year? You're probably going to be somewhere between 20 and 23 the year
And look, they
after.
deferred it
I just
last year as well.
right.
The Lakers was better than them last year as well. And the Lakers started two
I
and ten
don't
last year.
know. Like I don't know if they got a mole in the Lakers organization that's saying LeBron about to retire or something, and Anthony Davis is going to sit the year out and rest. But like you're not
Right.
getting a lottery pick from LA, so what exactly are you waiting for? I don't really understand. And I just felt like with not necessarily the free agents this year, but a lot of guys that are looking for new homes in the trade market, having two first round picks is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have utilized that. And so now they have pick 21. And I heard some folks also saying, well, hey, they can still get Trey Young and Zach Edey. How? Because you're not going to be in draft range to get Zach Edey, who's probably going to be a lottery pick.
A
And
lot of people might think he's might fall because his size and
yeah,
the new
and the
NBA, but
Hawks,
he might not be there. The Lakers might take Zach Edey if they don't
yeah,
trade that
they
pick.
might. And the Hawks are going to want to pick 21, or at least that alone, and Brandon
Well, they
Ingram.
gonna
Like I
want
think
him
you're going to
in.
want.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're going to end up having to give out a lot of capital in other drafts where I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you might want to keep that because we still don't know how consistent Zion's going to
Zion.
be health wise. I mean, who knows what you're going to get? I think there are teams like, I mean, the Spurs, for one, have a better trade package for the Hawks when it comes to a Trey Young than
Oh, let's
the
talk. Let's talk. Let's
NFL will
talk.
have.
He gonna throw
Because,
his team out there.
okay, here's the thing.
What's
Hawks,
y'all trade package?
if they trade Trey Young, we gotta assume that they're looking to rebuild, right? The
No,
Spurs,
no.
if they trade Trey
Why you
Young
say
and they're
that?
wanting to trade DeJounte Murray, if they're
No,
trading
they're
Trey
not
Young,
trading both. They're not trading
no,
both.
they're looking to trade both. They
If
like
they
both of
trade
them want to
both,
be.
I don't still don't believe it can be they rebuild because the assets they getting back, they have the number
Yeah.
one pick. They can,
Well,
and if they trade with the Pelicans, they're getting back Brandon Ingram. So that's not
yeah,
a rebuilding team.
but here's the thing: you'd also want to maybe get a Cooper Flag next year.
All right.
Because nobody's, I mean, we've talked about this draft. Nobody sees a true franchise player in this draft, and we're looking at to 2026 anyway. But guess who owns the Hawks picks from 2026 to 2028? The San Antonio Spurs do, and they got
Mm-hmm.
that in the DeJounte Murray trade. And
Okay.
so if you want those picks back, and you're saying, okay, we'll rebuild a little bit, we'll have some time to get a stud in next year's draft, the year after that, and that draft. That's a team that pretty much has your future in their hands right now. So it really depends on how you want to go. To be quite honest with you, it's going to depend on where Trey Young wants to go. If he wants to go to the Pelicans, it's going to happen. If he wants to go to the Lakers, it's going to happen.
Oh no,
Um,
no,
I mean,
no.
if that's what
I
he
don't believe
wants,
that.
yeah. Do I think he's going to go to the Lakers? No. But if he
I don't
said,
believe that.
if he went to the Hawks and said, that's where I want to go, and he could make the Hawks' life a miserable hell if they don't send him
How
where he
many
wants to
years he
go.
have left on that contract?
He
4,
has no, he doesn't have that much. I think he has 3 years left.
3.
Yeah, I think he has
Oh yeah,
3 years left now.
he don't have no. It's kind of gonna be
Yeah,
like it's hard to demand where you want to go when you got 3 years left. Like when you have
yeah,
2 or 1, you like
mhm,
all right. You like especially when you have 1. When you
yeah,
have 1 left, you can do what AD did. I'm not coming to
Mhm.
play for y'all, Boston.
Mhm.
Well, he said I'm not coming to play. I'm gonna play, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave at the end of the year. So you can
Yeah.
give up what you want to give up, but I'm still leaving at the end of the year.
Yeah, but I think,
But
I think the Spurs from a draft capital standpoint
definitely.
have what the Hawks would want, especially when it comes to their future. But I do
Hmm.
think if after the Spurs, I think it's the Pelicans and what they could offer in a guy like Brandon Ingram, who's an All Star, could be really good for them. Obviously, like you said, they have the number one overall pick, so now you're drafting a guy that can be a part of that, and then you
Bring
may
him in, start
control.
right next to Ingram.
Right. And then you're controlling the Pelicans' future for the next maybe two drafts because you're going to have to maybe give up an additional two first rounders in the next
Hmm.
couple drafts. And like I said, we don't know if how consistent the Pelicans will be. I mean, we have seen where Zion has been really good. He came off a really good season and kind of got hurt at the wrong time, but you still ended
Hmm.
up being in the play-in. And Brandon Ingram was a guy that was there to kind of help pick up
Struggling.
the pieces. Whereas, so now if Zion's gone, let's say Trey Young isn't really doing as well or fitting with the other guys, right? Because we've just been talking about Trey Young and his fit with Zion, but how does he fit
Hmm.
with Herb? How does he fit with Trey? You know, so
My
what if those things don't work out and now you're looking at being a lottery team, but you don't have that lottery pick because you didn't send it
mhm.
to the Hawks. So um,
Here's my thing. We touched on a good bit with this Pelicans pick. And I'm with you on the agreement. I think they should have kept the pick because asset management. You know you're
mhm,
going to hunt for a Donovan Mitchell, Trey Young,
yeah,
one of those guys. DeJounte Murray, whichever one you want. A lot of people want to say Murray value is higher than Trey Young's right now, which I
mhm.
don't get why they saying that. Stop trying to downplay Trey Young's value
They're trying to hurt
because
his trade
to
value.
yes, like, and I get that from the opposing teams because they're gonna
Mhm,
come with the offer. Said, "Oh no, his value's not that high because he's a small and he
yeah,
doesn't defend."
because I
But
mean, go ahead.
Trey Young value is so like to me,
Yeah,
he doesn't defend, but his impact offensively is just it's undeniable. You put
yeah,
him with Wimby or Zion,
yeah,
you're gonna see a live city. like,
yeah.
like you think the pick and rolls with Luka is crazy with Daniel Gafford. Put Trey Young with Wimby, just where he could just flick it up and Wimby will be tapping in about 5 alley oops a game. It's
And
crazy
brother,
to me.
the thing I hate about the whole defensive argument, man, like y'all, like they be acting like they playing one on one out there. Like you still got to play team defense. Like they
Teams are
not
scoring 140
like
and 150.
right.
Who is
And
defending right now? Like
like,
tell
bro, and
me.
look, and I love DeJounte Murray. I think he's one of the best perimeter players in the league. But guess what? He got 50 dropped on his head. We saw D
Mhm.
Book drop what 55, 60 on Herb Jones. Like it
It's hard.
happened.
It's hard to
It's an
stop
offensive
people
league.
in this NBA. Now in the
Yeah.
NBA, when you get to the playoffs, everything tightens up.
Yeah.
More people deficiencies show because the game slows. They're not calling the ticky tacky fouls. It's
Mm-hmm.
rare you're going to see 120-point game in the playoffs. I
Yep.
don't care what
Yep.
pace you play. The Pacers, they played at one of the highest paces. They didn't score that many points each game, every
Mm-mm.
game in this playoffs. It comes down and you really have to run some offense. And Trey Young and half court offense with whoever you put above, or the Pelicans with Herb Jones and Trey on the wing. If you put it with the Spurs with Devin
Yeah.
Vassell, Wimby, and whoever they added free agency
And
with
look,
the money they have.
and 20,
But
25 plus in 10 with nobody remotely close to being offensive presences like a Zion Williamson or Wimby. Like we
bruh,
like we talking about what
he damn near gonna
he can
average
do for
13
them.
assists.
Like we've been talking about what he can do for them. We're not even talking about what they can do for him. Like now you truly gotta you can't blitz screens with Trey Young because now I'm fucking sending that shit to Wimby or Zion, and now you got
You
to
you
deal with
saw
them
you saw a
going
little
to
bit
the
of that
middle.
when he had John Collins and Clint Capella.
Yeah.
He still had Clint Capella, but you see the lobs with them two the year they made it
Mm-hmm.
to the Bucks. John Collins was flying, bro. He was like he was flying on alley oops. And
Yeah.
my point with the Hawks trade, I guess we're gonna get into some trade machines
Mm-hmm.
on as the finals come to an end with the free agency. But my thoughts with the Hawks trading one or the other or both, whoever they pick, they'll get. I assume they can get about 5 to 6 picks for both if they trade both of the guys. But my
Mm-hmm.
thought is, you keep one. You don't have to rebuild. You know you
Sure.
could get Brandon Ingram with if you trade DeJounte Murray or Trey Young to the Pelicans. You
Hmm.
can get Brandon Ingram back for one of those
Yeah.
guys. You might even get a pick back with it because you
Hmm.
taking on Brandon Ingram in a new contract. You have to sign him to a new contract. So bring in Ingram, keep Trey Young. If you trade Trey, you get more assets back. You might get
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram and a throw-in. So,
Hmm.
but you could get that. Keep your number one pick. Start a 7-foot guy for France at your center, and
Hmm.
you proceed with that. Or
Yeah.
trade your number one pick and find a star player who you want out there. Like the
Yeah.
Rockets are offering up their number 3 pick. They trying to get Mikal Bridges. I'm sure you
Hmm.
could go get somebody with that number one pick if you don't like anybody in the draft.
Right.
You can go get somebody who you believe could be a superstar or already a star like a Mikal Bridges, a budding star. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm thinking. But overall, we got a little bit off the Pelicans, but Pelicans, y'all should have kept the pick. We
Should
don't
have
know
kept
who
it.
gonna be there with the Pelicans. We so
And y'all,
unpredictable
they
right
don't play
now.
their rookies anyway. So just use the 17 and 21 to go trade for somebody that's gonna play. Like,
Yeah, y'all waste Jordan Hawkins year this year, man. And man, you should have let him shoot more, Willie Green. And Willie Green,
mm-hmm.
this might be a hot seat year coming up for you. This you've been hiding, but you've been hiding. You ain't been hiding, but the injuries have been keeping you there because
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram got hurt. He was out with that toe injury 2 seasons ago, and when he
Mm-hmm.
came back, Zion got hurt, and now there was first seed this year and fell off a slope with the injuries again. So if y'all healthy, Willie Green, we would like to see y'all in the playoffs showing out. We would like to see
Well,
Zion play one playoff game at least.
yeah.
And we're gonna finish with this today, you guys. Another 1 hour hometowners, Hall of Famer, legend in New Orleans, legend in the NFL, man. Drew Brees said he could have
Brees
played
is
at
baby.
least 3 more years in the NFL if it wasn't due to this throwing shoulder, the right shoulder, you guys. Now, I was very adamant on Twitter Breeze last couple of years. I love
Mm-hmm.
Breeze, but I love reality as well. I love that more than anything. And sometimes I run across my Saints colleagues and fans who
Mm-hmm.
supporters who just delusional, who think you're
Yeah.
just supposed to keep people in because their name,
Mm-hmm.
even when they're not performing. I don't want to say not performing, but are unable to perform due to the injury. Everybody knew Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball down the field, push the ball down the
Yeah.
field, and this wasn't his last year. This was the year, even going into that Rams year when we lost,
Yeah.
that year we lost on that it started that year when we lost on that
Don't bring it to
call.
trouble. You know what happened.
Yeah, I don't even need to say the rest, and that just hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing Breeze fall off like that, not being it, being Dunkin' Donuts, dipping in dots, uh, for this last couple of years. When I thought we had a championship team, and I thought if we had somebody who could push the ball down the field,
Mm-hmm.
we could have capitalized on that and brought another Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
maybe if that, I don't know, Breeze was still a good quarterback, but we just didn't have that
Yeah.
over the top dynamic to our offense
Yeah.
that kept the defense honest, that everybody
Mm-hmm.
pressed us, everybody safeties down. You're not a threat to throw it no farther than
Mm-hmm.
15 or 20 yards. So
Right.
that just killed me. But obviously Drew Brees agreed with me. Now he didn't agree with me back then because he still was playing. And of course, the competitive in him, he not coming off the field. He's gonna play.
Yeah.
He was a super. He's a MVP candidate for multiple years, but he's not gonna say that while he's playing. Now that he's been off the team for a limited, he's
Mm-hmm.
finally admitted self awareness is great, and he
Mm-hmm.
said it. So what do you think of this, man? Did you see what I see when he was on the field?
Man, I saw it. I saw it. Honestly, I saw it even before the Rams. Yeah, I saw it the year
Mm-hmm.
before losing against the Vikings, I
Tampa Bay.
believe.
Oh,
We lost to the Vikings
in
in the division.
overtime.
And it was one of those things where we started seeing that early on, Drew kind of had it. Everything was firing on all cylinders, and you would start to see towards the end of the year, offense looked a little bit more tough to go by
Mm-hmm.
instead of being as explosive as we were used to at times. We kind of had to methodically drive down the field,
Mm-hmm.
and I was at that point. I was saying, hey man, we need to really start thinking about a successor or somebody. But that wasn't the case. It
When
didn't
you're
happen.
winning, that go to the back
Right.
burner.
And so that's one of the reasons why I thought Lamar Jackson was going to be the pick, because it's like, I mean, I hope they done seen what I've seen, and that's not saying that Drew has to retire right now, but you might want to have somebody in that place. Unfortunately,
Him and Sean
Sean
Payton.
wanted Taysom to be that
Exactly.
person, right? And so he didn't
Exactly.
feel the need to bring anybody in. And so when we talk about the championship year, or the NFC Championship game, and you start to see the Rams played a lot more close to the vest than they did during that regular season game, because that
Mhm.
regular season game, we closed the game over the top throw, and
Marcus Peters.
right,
Yep, Michael
and
Thomas.
we started seeing that, and I think to some degree, I think Sean's a lot to blame, because
He
you
is.
see it every day in practice. Why are we having Drew throw so many times in the postseason, but also why were we having him throw so many times early on in the season too? Like,
And he had an
utilize
injury,
the run
right?
game. He had an injury. He
Yeah,
had an
it was
injury.
a
We didn't-
a shoulder injury.
he had a
I forgot who knocked him out. He was
so
out
it
for a
was
couple
a
of weeks.
Yeah, so he was out. He had a thumb injury one year. It
Aaron
was
Donald, yeah.
it
I
was the
remember
it was
Aaron
the
Donald hit his
shoulder
thumb.
and the ribs one year. The year against Tampa Bay, apparently, according to his wife, he was playing with a torn rotator cuff, and it's like, why? So when he says, like, what I've loved, especially given the quarterback position
Mhm.
situation we've had the past few years, in hindsight, you're like, man, I wish we still had Drew. But when you really think about it, if 3 more years of Drew were like the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years of Drew, that wouldn't have been fair to us. Eventually, it would have taken a
Then in the
toll.
mid,
And then we would
right?
have had him, look at him like we looked at Peyton Manning. Yeah, Peyton ended out with a Super Bowl, but his last season, man, he was a shell of himself.
He
And
couldn't
I'm
throw the
glad
ball,
Drew,
bro.
and
Every
I'm
ball
glad
he
Drew
threw
got
was
out.
ducks.
Yeah, and I'm glad Drew got out when he did. I know he doesn't, even now. I know you said he reality setting in, but I think
Hmm.
even still, even saying that, I don't think he was really paying attention to how he played those last couple of years to say, yeah, I could have played 3 more. I don't quite know about that, Drew.
You don't
But
think if he never had a shoulder injury, he could have played 3 more?
oh, had he never had that shoulder injury in San Diego?
No, not
Or
the San Diego in the Saints. I'm talking about the Saints shoulder
yeah,
injury.
when
It was a couple games where he got. I forgot the game he got hurt, but
yeah,
somebody hit his arm when he was throwing. You
yeah,
know the
yeah. I know
the
what you
main
mean.
play that happened.
I
Somebody
think
hit it, and he was out for a couple games. Let me
Yeah, I
see. I'm
think
gonna
it
try to
still
search
would have
that up.
taken its toll, because even what he's going through now stems from that injury with the Chargers. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe he plays longer, but does he play better, or does he continue to get worse? And I would lean more towards the latter, where we were already kind of seeing you decline. It was very marginal, but it's just
Mhm.
some things that when you really pay attention to players, especially players you love and adore, you start to see some of the little things. And it wasn't always showing up in the win-loss column, because we had a really good team. And all you
Right.
really needed was a competent quarterback to win games. And I miss him. I wish he was much healthier towards the end. I definitely wish we could have got him out with a Super Bowl, because I think if we win, again, we go to the Super Bowl against the Patriots and win that, I think he retires right there. And we're looking at the future of the Saints. But it is what
Bruh,
it is. Glad he's making it to the Hall of Fame, though.
and the Rams scored 3 points that Super Bowl, and the Patriots scored 10.
Yep.
One of the most boring Super Bowls ever.
Yeah.
Robbed us of two goats. They robbed us of Drew Brees moving into that upper echelon of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's what I hated the most. I always wanted to see the Brady Breeze
Brees Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl. I saw
Yeah.
the Breeze Manning Super Bowl, and I saw the Brady versus Breeze that year with
Yeah.
that Super Bowl year in the
Yeah.
Superdome,
Yeah.
and I was like,
And
oh my god,
and I would
for
say,
Jared Goff and the Rams.
even at that point, let's say it's 2 rings, you really putting Drew in the GOAT conversation, because the guys that you have ahead of him, especially Tom Brady, hey, when it mattered the most, I beat him. So I beat
Mhm.
two of the greatest of all time in the biggest game
I
in the
definitely
sport.
think he would have been.
So
I definitely think he would have moved at least they would have been talking about him and Manning because he beat
Mm-hmm.
Manning in their stats. His stats are like right under Brady's. Only Brady.
Mm-hmm.
It's only Brady because he played a couple of years.
He played a
Yeah,
couple more years, right?
yeah, that's it. Like they was
Mm-hmm.
like it was a thing where week by week they was breaking each other records. Like so, we love you, Breeze. Um, if you're in New Orleans, y'all go to his restaurant, walk on, right on
Yeah,
Paul.
Coach Spencer Rattler, big dog. Coach Spencer Rattler. That's what you can do for us right now. Coach him up.
Please. He got an arm you ain't never had, Breeze, even when you was younger. Spencer Rattler could throw that thing.
Yeah.
Man, but that was the Bayou Ballers podcast, man. That was a good show again, man. We have the drop. I have it. The guy sent it to me what we was talking about before the show, brother. He sent it to me during the show. And we're gonna introduce the next show for y'all. I hope y'all like it. It's great. It looks nice. I'm gonna add a little pizzazz to it. And I hope y'all like it. Y'all keep watching the show. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna keep giving y'all more
Right.
shows and more Saints content. We know y'all love the homers. NBA finals coming up. So we're gonna try to get y'all some shows after games. And try to keep y'all updated. But any other last words you got for him, bro?
Nah, man. It's just, I mean, again, enjoy y'all taking this journey with us. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. And the thing is, man, we talking about a lot of sports topics. So guess what? You ain't just got to be a New Orleans Saints fan to jump on this bandwagon, man. We talking about all the teams. We talking about all the sports
Exactly.
in terms of NBA, NFL. So, man, if you want us to talk about your team a little bit more, give us something to talk about. I mean, because some of y'all, like Charlotte Hornets fans, don't come in our mentions. We ain't talking about y'all till y'all worry. But
Right.
but
We're gonna
other
talk about
guys,
y'all for the draft.
yeah, yeah. Who else? Who other person career y'all about to ruin? But other than that, I mean, look, we willing to talk about anything and everything within this realm, man, and it's fun.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know about you, Tate, but it's kind of helping me really explore and research some more teams and some more players that I didn't always really care that much about, and so that's kind of opening
Mhm.
my mind up to this whole sports thing.
Oh man, I love it. That's why. Who would have thought, man? We'll be here, two New Orleans guys discussing Cleveland Brown general manager and coach extensions.
Right.
Come on, man. That's like who's doing that? Who's covering that on a daily? Stuff like that. Pelicans deferring the Lakers draft pick. We know everybody cover the Cowboys, but we cover inner details like this, man. A lot of people not doing that. We going down to the nitty gritty. Well, when your team have news, they're gonna be on here. And if we miss it, like Trey said, shoot it to us like, hey, our guy just signed the extension. Our guy just got hurt for the year. We just signed this guy. We gonna cover it. Even if it's small details, we gonna be looking out and we gonna have a lot of content for the draft. I'm ready for the NBA draft and free agency. Free
For
agency,
me
y'all gonna see something out of me. I'm gonna be on that trade machine. I'll be on that trade machine. I don't even have a team, but I'm gonna be trying to help all y'all teams out. But yeah, that's gonna be an episode we're gonna have to do, man, especially for your San Antonio. Y'all gonna be in the woo for a couple stars. So we're gonna
yeah.
have to put y'all on that trade machine. Just like we did the Saints breakdown. Had a trade machine to the side and we just pulling moves. But we got some more we have our Saints rookie we gotta cover. We're gonna do that as a solo episode. So y'all tune into that. We're gonna try to get that done for y'all. But we out, y'all. Y'all have a good night. We see y'all for the finals tomorrow.
Peace out.